Welcome to Star Powered Astrology for Changemakers. I'm Leslie Tagorda, your guide, a Hawaii-born Filipino Jewish astrologer who loves navigating visionaries like you through the spiritual journey of your work so that you can be inspired to lead by your chart and become the luminary leader you were born to be. Ooh, hello, luminaries. I am beyond excited for my first interview of 2023. It's someone that I hope you know and love as much as I do. She's been on this podcast many, many times. Asha, Indigenous medicine woman and best-selling author of You Are the Medicine. She's going to be sharing with us some upcoming exciting creations of hers. Hello, Asha.
Hi, Leslie. It's my favorite podcast to come on. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm blushing because I'm just so excited. My face is like flushing red because I'm so excited to be here with you. It's been so long.
It really has. I know I'm so excited for this and what we're sharing about today.
Yes. So Asha is coming on not just because she's my friend, but her newest creation, your Sacred Medicine Oracle deck, is about to be shared into the world on February 28th. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Ooh, tell us a little bit, or tell us a lot about your deck, and that just it's so beautiful. I mean, I hope everybody here has already read You Are the Medicine, the most beautiful book about the 13 moons, and tell us about your beautiful deck, Sacred Medicine.
So it's interesting because people have asked me, so does it go along with the book? And it can definitely accompany the book and just amplify the medicine of the teachings. But it really is its own creation in itself. It has its own spirit. It has its own energy and sort of energy imprint. And it really is one of my biggest dreams. I mean, the book was a dream come true, but this oracle deck was like a dream that I had when I was 20 of having my own oracle deck. And I got a bit obsessed with oracle decks in my work. I would get the ones that really resonated with me and I would use them in my private practice and in my circles, my workshops. I really got to know the essence and medicine of how an oracle works, how it worked for me and my clients, and then in my ceremonies and rituals. So it became like something that I felt like I embodied. And when this opportunity came about, I just felt like, oh my goodness, this is in such alignment because I've been visioning this for 25 years now, having my own cards and medicine in my hands. That is what I've been dreaming about for a really long time. So now it's here and I have the cards in my hands and it really is a dream come true.
Oh my goodness, Asha, I'm so excited for you. I know we haven't known each other that long in the grand scheme of things, but I remember when we were talking and meeting, and you were always talking about this vision of your deck and how this was something that you wanted to bring into the world. Just the other day, I was chatting a little bit with Colette Baron Reed, and she was just saying how much she loved this deck so much that you really had the lexicon. She talks about the lexicon of creating a deck and how you imbued all of that energy. Will you tell us a little bit about the grandmothers that supported you in creating this deck? Because when I was reading about the grandmothers, I just got this chill. I felt like this warm hug around me too. And I'm like, do we have the same grandmothers? I don't know.
We might. That's why we're such good friends. Um, oh goodness, I think they started to appear actually when I had my membership, and even a little bit before that, when I was doing messages in my Facebook group, I would feel this group of beings that would, and it wasn't like from above they would come down. It would just like they would be like I'd lean back and I'd feel them surrounding me with warmth and with this unconditional love, and I could feel them actually kind of blessing my heart with these messages that would come through like a channel,
Yeah.
but it would really feel like it was heart centered, that like unconditional love pouring out. So I would write what they would share, and I would say, okay, I would share with my group, if you choose this card, this is what it means. If you choose this or this image, this is what it means. And I carried that into my membership, and they got stronger and stronger. So I knew that they would be helping. It was like almost like a precursor to my cards. Like they would do these messages for my clients and my audience, and then they were like, well, actually these are for your cards, right? So how can we work together to create this medicine? So to me, they are the ancient ones. They are the ones who hold the dreams of what they carried for us. They are the star beings. They gather sort of this consciousness that really feels like pure love to me and support. And they ultimately were like the support for this deck. They hold this deck with so much presence.
Oh, that is so beautiful, Asha. I learned so much from you. I feel like you have this way of sparking all of these little lights in people that get them to their own roots because you've done this for me like over and over and over again. Like I can't explain that. But when I was reading about what you were talking about about the grandmother spirit in your card and what you were just sharing now about that like warmth, um, and the channeling, I noticed that in the last like 3 years, that ability to let go and let spirit speak through. And I know that I'm doing the right thing or on the right path when I feel like just this warmth that comes over my shoulders and my back. And I can't see them like how you do. I can only trust that they're there. And it feels exactly like what you're talking about with your grandmothers.
I love that. That's the way that I would love my work to land. And since the book came out and I get all these DMs, that's how it's landing, which was my wish. Just like, can this catalyze something for you? Can this initiate or activate something within you that you've always known, that's always been there? You know, people are like, I read your book and like, it's all concepts that I've known before somewhere, somehow, but you kind of brought them together and reminded me again. And I think that's such beautiful wisdom because it reminds us that we do carry all of this within us. It's beautiful to have guides and teachers and people who offer us these things, but ultimately it's so potent when it gets activated within us.
And once you start like on this path, it's like all of this information just starts dropping for you, like serendipitous energies. So when most recently, as I was exploring your deck and as I was getting also messages that I needed to do more ancestor work, and I just the teeniest I've dipped my toes in, but all of this valid information or the information that I need starts directing. So one of the most interesting things was I was listening to this book, and I can't even remember who the author was. Pretty insignificant, not like even remembering like very well this book, but one thing stood out, and they were saying about when we're doing our ancestor work, because the last 1,000, 2,000 years have been so fraught with kind of like global trauma, whether through like colonization and imperialization, where we've been cut off from our healthy ancestors. And to do this deep ancestor work is to go back before we can remember our ancestral names, to go back 1,000, 2,000 years. Um, One of the things, the reason why I bring it up is I remember you sharing once that your visions came through in your dreams because you didn't have ancestors that you could remember that had this knowledge, and they were downloading them to you in your dreams, and they were wanting you to share this blessing and share their talents.
Yeah, that I think that when we're decolonizing or re-indigenizing our ways of being and knowing and finding information, we forget about those ways that we're so connected, especially in our dream time. It's like a whole half of our life, you know, if we're sleeping, of gathering information. And I think during those times, that memory in our DNA, our cells, our waters, it's there's like a channel opens that says, okay, this is information for you. And if you're open to the possibility that that can be ancestral wisdom, then it'll start to, again, during your daytime living life, those are those little like, oh, I know this, I remember this. There's something about this that I resonate with. Of course, because your ancestors are blessing you with that information in your dreams or your quiet time or sitting with the land. It's all there for you. I believe the information is all there for you.
Ooh, I just love that so much. Will you share with us a little bit? You shared about some of kind of the inspiration, but would you share a little bit about the creation and just like getting things to be manifest in our physical world?
Oh goodness. Yeah. You know, yeah. I think about this a lot about like manifesting this deck in particular and how I would hold another person's deck and I would like shuffle it. And I really would like activate that embodiment of like, what would it feel like to manifest my own deck in my hands? What would it feel like to share a message from my grandmother's into the world? What would it feel like to have folks like receive this medicine that is actually coming from, me, my channel, the spirit world? What would that feel like? So it's like, I think I really did dream that into being in those ways, which is so brilliant. And then, of course, the artist, Chef Littlebird's an amazing artist. And, she brought this amazing vision somehow into reality. Like I had the vision in my actual visionary center, and I would be like, this is what I want this card to look like. I'd have to speak it out in words, which was really hard for me because I wish I could take it a picture. And then somehow she, interpreted that and created these beautiful drawings that were exactly what I wanted.
Oh, these drawings are so beautiful. I'm glad that you brought up the illustrator because I was reading her bio. Is she also part Filipina?
I believe I don't know, I believe that she is from a reserve it says Oregon Grand Ronde Confederated Tribes. So that's where I think she's from.
Yeah. Well, what was really interesting part of her bio, and some of the art that she was doing, it says when she was being re-examined colonial histories of the so-called Philippines and the Filipinx American diaspora, and colonized people indigenous to North America. And I was like, oh, I wonder if she has some Filipino heritage too, because
It
it
makes
was just so
sense. Like,
beautiful.
yeah, we have to find that out. I didn't actually get to have a lot of conversations with her, to be honest. The art was all done through the art team at Hay House. So, yeah, I don't know her in a relational way.
It's so beautiful, and she lives in Las Vegas. I was just like, I've just been jonesing on this guidebook. It's so beautiful.
I love that.
One of my favorite things about getting to play with this deck over the last couple of weeks, and then finally last night having some real space to have a relationship and a nice sit down with the deck was I love the spreads that you have. They're not these typical spreads. Could you tell us a little bit about those spreads?
Yeah, well, I guess I wanted to make them a bit unique and different, and
Yes.
also in alignment with how I tend to do card pulls. And one of them, my favorite one is the medicine wheel pull because I speak and share so much about cyclical living and seasonal medicine. And I love that framework of the medicine wheel. And if we can choose something, so say you have something you're manifesting or something you're dreaming into being, and you ask the East, like, where do I need to focus my attention to, like, where am I being stuck where I can't really like let this fly, and then you're asking the South, what nourishment do I need? You're asking the West, like, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be brought to death? And then we ask the North, what can be brought, like, how is the great mystery working through this dream? I just think those are really holistic questions we can ask
Yeah.
for something and pull something to just really be like, oh my goodness, right, there's a lot of elements working together here. So the medicine wheel spread is one of my favorites. And of course, since I teach a lot about the moons, I really feel like doing using oracle decks on your full moon or new moon ceremonies is just such a powerful way to put that on your altar to carry through that cycle, knowing that the spirit of that card is alive and it's holding space for you for your whole moon cycle. I think that's
Mm.
magical. They feel like they come alive to me when I look at them, that they have like some sort of spirit that carries them. So when they're on my altars, I feel like, oh, my altar's protected. There's a guardian there. It's helping.
I love that. We're recording this a couple of days before the upcoming Pisces new moon on February 19th or 20th, depending on where in the world you live. So, during my new moon ritual, I will definitely be doing a new moon spread with this beautiful deck. Um, Going back to that medicine wheel spread, I remember one of our very first conversations. I was like, is it okay to do something about the four directions? I was asking permission.
I remember.
And I always think about the medicine wheel as very similar to the angles in a natal chart, with
Mhm.
our rising sign being east, the descendant being south. And then where it kind of breaks apart, but there's still like so many different connections is the north and the south with the midheaven and the IC at the bottom of the chart. And so I love the idea of cyclical living. And, our natal chart is our grand cycle built right in.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You have such a great way always of like seeing from the star, like from above in the stars and seeing that whole picture, which I just think is it's such a gift that you carry.
Yo, thank you. Well, I mean, my goodness. And, can we talk a little bit about this idea of being a channel?
Oh, yes. Well, I think we all have access to that. That can be medicine for all of us. And whether or not we use it or are connected to it, I mean, I think we're often just like pulling in information from different pieces and parts of our lives all the time. So to me, a channel is not necessarily like I'm channeling different beings. It could just be like, oh, I'm channeling and taking in different types of information from all of the souls around me, from the medicines that exist around me, from the land, from the earth, from the trees, from the animals. I'm calling that in. And I think particularly when I created the deck, the channel was open to those grandmothers. So I think we can specifically sort of attune our energy to our guides, our ancestors, our animal spirits, the beings that wish to come through, and doing some ceremony to make sure you're clearing the space and helping like the highest sort of energies to be channeled through. And I think that we all have access to that. Sometimes it's like an intuitive knowing that comes forward, and we doubt those things. So we can, I don't know, smush that down or oppress those parts of ourselves. And I hope this deck initiates the channel within you as well to just be like, oh, that speaks to me. That speaks to this part of my life, and starts to download some information for you that you've been carrying.
I feel like that's really important that I want everybody to put into their hearts, into their souls, is that you too are a channel.
Mhm.
Right. And it's about trusting those intuitive hunches that, of course, our current society and culture has deemed dangerous. Right. And so, how do I love the term that you've been talking about, like this idea of re indigenizing, right? How do we re indigenize ourselves to come back to these roots of being able to be connected to that information and those downloads that are just waiting for us to filter out the ones that are not helpful so that we can like raise everybody up for the highest good? I notice that when I'm working with a lot of clients, especially with people who have a lot of energies at the top of the midheaven or Mercury at the midheaven, there's just like or a lot of Gemini, like you do. You have your sun, Jupiter, and Gemini so close to the top of your chart. It's like really being able to focus and find the voice of the universe and bring it down here onto Earth. So I love that idea of the channel.
That's amazing. I love how you make those connections. That's so brilliant. I wanted to do a reading for you if you're open.
I'm super open. I love receiving readings.
So I was wondering if you had anything that you have questions about right now, or if there's anything that you're wanting some deeper guidance with.
It's so interesting. Like, I feel super supportive in my work, and I feel for the first time just like really grounded in my FOMO-ness. Like, sometimes I get really worried and preoccupied with what everybody else is doing. But I
Mhm.
think because, my mom recently passed, like, that has really been on my mind. That did I do right for her? Is she going to be able to move on to that next place after suffering so much in this lifetime? And it would feel really good to be able to just like let go of that responsibility.
So I just lit a little bit of sweetgrass that I have in my smudge bowl today. For some reason, I just have sweetgrass in that, which is interesting because it really is a repair medicine, like bringing the braid together with kindness and love, which I think, we're always repairing. I think bringing bringing that energy into our familial relationships.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's okay to share, but I had a dream about your mom, right, last week, which was so amazing. So I just know that we are interconnected so deeply, and we will ask the cards about that. So I'm going to choose 3 cards just to get like sort of like a fuller energy and see. And what was your mom's name again?
Susan.
Susan. And do you have a sense, like you said, she hasn't really come to visit you yet in your dreams?
Yeah, I haven't felt her. I haven't recalled.
So the cards that I received about you and your mom, I got the drum medicine card, which is regulation. And this is interesting because traditionally the drum beat reminds us of the first heartbeat we ever heard, which is our mother's heartbeat. So when we play the drum, it brings us back to that womb space, that creation space, the space where we were held safe in those waters, right? So I think that there's some, as a message, I think, from your mother of like, you were loved and cared for in my womb space. And even if that wasn't always expressed throughout your lifetime, I'm bringing that memory back, that memory of that heartbeat. And also, let's connect you now to like the heartbeat of the earth mother, to have that mothering energy flowing through the bottoms of your feet every single day. And maybe just resourcing yourself there, for anything that you couldn't get from her, just resourcing yourself to that drumbeat of the mother, the earth mother. So
Beautiful.
that card connected. And you got the winter solstice, the bear card, which is one of my favorites.
That's the first card that I ever pulled from your deck when you were saying, tell me what your first card was. So I guess bear is pretty loud right now.
Really loud. The sense that I get for this too is that the moon and that there's just like a very small amount of sky around this, but that's the part that really stands out. Those star nations, that great void, that great mystery, the unknown. I feel like she's actually kind of swirling around in the great mystery right now, trying to find her place in a star or trying to find her place. It's almost like there's nothing wrong, but she's just like, I am becoming the great mystery. I'm becoming the void. I'm sinking in from that physical manifestation to that spirit manifestation. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask Bear to help her with that. So we're going to just call on Makwa and ask for Great Bear to go and to be with her as she finds her place in the great mystery. So that's what I feel. She has a protector there, wherever she is, and the last one here is you got the medicine rights card, which is accomplishment. And the sense I get about this is really about you. Oh, did you pick this one today or?
Last night, it was from the ancestor deck. It was the vision, the third deck, the third card.
Wow. Wow. So, accomplishment, this medicine rights are being downloaded to you right now. And the sense that I get is like your ancestors in the spirit world are so damn proud of you. And that part of you that thinks, have I done enough? Am I doing enough? Shouldn't I have done more? They're just saying, no, please just release all of those fears and worries. You deserve you deserve like a medicine right for the phase that you've walked through, the season that you've gone through, and how you've like kind of completed that. So this is like an accomplishment, a sealing up, and also like an honoring card for you to say you did enough and you are enough always.
Thank you, Asha. Oh my gosh, I'm like just like bawling.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
It's so interesting, right? So last night when I thank you and thank you for that card reading. That feels it. I'm crying so much because I love it when my clients cry also because like I know that it's really touched something deep within them that maybe they haven't been able to say to themselves yet. But when I did the ancestor spread from your deck yesterday, the from the matrilineal side, I got the medicine wheel, and then for the patrilineage, I can't say patrilineage, I got the sage stick to cleanse, and then here we go. That's what I got. So you can't
Powerful
make
for you.
yeah, you can't make this up.
Oh, that's so magical. That's so magical. And something I've noticed over the years after being in online spaces and doing a lot of like card readings, right? They're like, I want a reading, I want a reading. And something that I suggest in the guidebook is like really take it in as a medicine, as like a relationship. Like instead of like pulling another card, I don't like that one, I'm gonna pull another one. It's like, how can we just like embrace it even for the day and just say, okay, this is guiding me through this whole day. to honor the spirit that has come forward for you. Because what I would see is people jumping like, oh, I'll get a reading there, I'll get a reading there, I'll get a reading there. And then you're not honoring the fullness of the medicine that's coming forward. So it's something I encourage in the deck as well. Sometimes the cards don't seem aligned and we're like, I don't know, that doesn't really fit for me today. Let's pull another one. But I guarantee you'll get the message somewhere soon.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I've noticed that for sure. I'm not so I know enough to not like play with the deck and just like pull another card because then the deck will just get kind of like upset at you and be like, you know what? I'm not going to give you the message that you're in. I don't think that of your deck, but I've experienced decks like that. Um, but from I love getting readings from people and just like the different access points. And I've been hearing the same things over and over and over again. There's definitely a pattern, a message that I fully hear and fully embrace.
May it bless you. May it continue to bless you.
Yes. So my goodness, what will you be doing to celebrate and bring this deck into the world?
So I'm offering a complimentary as a gift. If you buy the deck, you can join me for a spring equinox ceremony where we're turning and moving into eagle. So you can join me in ceremony, and we're going to do some card pulls and some activations, some journeys with the eagle. And that will be on the 21st of March. So I do hope that folks join me because I love the shifts of the season. I love ceremony at that time. And I just thought this is a perfect time to like activate our decks together. It's more powerful together in community. So that's something I'm so excited about.
Oh my goodness, I will be there. What time is that? I'm looking for my calendar because the in March and April, these spring months of this year are so powerful. There are so many shifts in the stars that I'm sure you can already sense and feel. You said it was the 21st. Is that Friday?
21st at 1. So it's Tuesday, the 21st, and it'll be at
Oh,
1 p.m.
Tuesday the
1 p.m.
21st,
my time. So
Eastern time. So on the 21st, I don't know if you also know there's also the Aries new moon.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, at 0 degrees. So we've the sun entering Aries and the new moon, like they happen within hours of each other. And then a few days later, Pluto moves into Aquarius, which is like shifting energies, like a 20, like Pluto likes to stay in a sign for like 20 years and things. So this is like a shift that is probably from the time that you dreamed up your wanting to create this deck till now, Pluto moving into another sign, it took that much transformation um, for energy for that to happen.
That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. It felt like it was almost like heavy lifting until it came to be, and now it just feels like I keep getting this image of it having these hawk wings. I don't know why they're hawk, but they're these hawk wings that are taking it farther than I could ever lift it myself as one human being. So that's my hope and my prayer for this deck, that it carries those wings and it spreads out to the world.
Oh my gosh. Well, it is absolutely beautiful. And it is a gift from you, a gift from your grandmothers, a gift from spirit. I mean, just all of the things. And so, everybody, go wherever you get your books from and your order Asha Frost's Sacred Medicine Oracle deck. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it is wise. Anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Oh, I think I'll share a card for the people listening. Let's do
Oh,
that.
people would love that. So, my goodness, what is a good question that we should ask for the star-powered listeners?
What do you think? Like based on who's in your audience, what do you think they need to know at this time with the astrology the way it is?
How do we embrace all of the giant shifts with grace and ease?
Ooh, I love that. Oh wow. So you got the Spider Woman, which is the grandmother of the deck, which is destiny. Uh,
Oh,
and that's like the
wow.
grandmother spider who comes in and says, lean into the center of your web, like trust that every step that you're taking is weaving something beautiful. Your destiny was dreamed before you got here. So even during the struggle, you're gaining strength in those webs, right? Like you're building resilience in those webs. Keep moving towards them, keep like creating and building. But that grandmother spider is like actually there protecting. It's interesting. We got the grandmother card after we're talking about that. Because what I feel is just like really secure. Anybody who's listening has a lot of protection around what they're dreaming into doing. So almost you can lean back into that protection and just feel them holding you as you weave. As you weave, you're all weavers. You're all weavers, and you're all working towards your destiny. And with Leslie's beautiful guidance, it can be done with a little more ease.
Oh my gosh, that is just absolutely beautiful. This deck, pure magic.
Oh, thank you. And if you wanted to join me on the 21st too, you can go to sacredmedicineoracle.com. That's where it's a free gift. So you can sign up for my free gifts, and then you get access to the ceremony. So I'd love to see people there if they're called.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll be there.
Oh, thank you so much for having me as always. It's such a gift to speak with you.
Oh, thank you, Asha. Thank you for joining us. As a human design projector, my energy shines more brightly because of people like you who share my work. If you enjoy this podcast and want to help build a movement of innovative astrology and leadership and spark the intuitive revolution, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, or better yet, share this podcast with your change-making besties. We will all shine brighter together as we create the future we want to see.